This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning and welcome to an extremely chilly morning here in Djuma Private Game Reserve. None of us wanted to get out of our beds this morning, to be honest with you. It was that cold. But of course, we do want to take you on a live safari, and that's what we're here for. So we've wrapped up. We're out and about. The sun is slowly starting to make an appearance on the horizon there. And we won't just be coming to you live from Djuma. We'll be coming to you live from many different places across South Africa, all with unique and wonderful things to show you for diversity. So everyone, wrap up. Stay warm. It's that time of day for your live bumble through the bush. Welcome aboard. I hope you've got on your thermals, your scarf, your hat, your gloves, and thick socks. I have, that's for sure. And Davi has too, because that's who I have on camera today. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Lauren. Now, we are hopefully on our way to a leopard, a Panthera pardus. I'm not sure which one. It's been called two different names this morning on the radio, so instead of assuming, let's just get there, and then we can find out exactly who it is. When I say cold, I mean really cold. This is the coldest it's been, but that's okay. We've got coffee on board, all is good. And I do love the sunrise safari. I definitely prefer that, in my opinion, to the sunset. But either way, they're both live and interactive. So please do talk to us. Send in all your lovely comments and wonderful questions using the hashtag WildEarth on Twitter. Or you can use @FC on the YouTube chat. Or you can head over to the WildEarth website. And as long as you've registered, you can submit your questions there. I'm just keeping my eye open for vehicles. Kids, if you're watching, please do send us your questions. It's a Saturday. I think you should be watching WildEarth. And you can send in your questions via email. And that email address is WildEarth. No, it's not. It's kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Tell us your name, your age, and your favorite animal. I absolutely want to know your favorite animal. So please do send them in. And now that we've passed the traffic for the morning, we are going to keep heading. See if we can get a spotty, delightful cat for you all. Okay, there we go. It was quite an interesting drive for me yesterday. We caught up with Maribs. Excuse me. He was still on the old monitor lizard, chomping away. There was still quite a lot of meat left, and we had some really, really wonderful elephant encounters. It's the first time a bull has came up to the car and then just fallen asleep next to us. Never had that before. It was really quite precious. So I can only imagine the sightings for today is going to be wonderful. Thanks for that update, Elton. Okay, we are just going to slowly scratch around. I think this leopard sighting might be here somewhere, but I will have to get on the radio. Okay, I'm hopefully going to find this cat for you all. Wish me luck as I drive off into the extremely cold morning. Let's take a look at the weather across all our locations.
Good morning and welcome everybody to andBeyond and Ngala this morning. A little bit chilly. Oopsie. A little bit chilly this morning as well, but not too bad. We're kind of waiting for the sun to come up. I'm Daniel Fisher, and on camera this morning we've got Owen Dell. I'm going to have a look at first thing this morning. So let's kind of just pop up onto this wall. Let's just make sure this microphone's working properly. Can you all hear me all right now? Is that sounding a bit better?
That's good.
Cool. Okay, so kind of coming up towards this watering hole onto the dam wall here. Very still morning. I just saw a couple of ripples. It's probably a hippo that's sitting in the watering hole here somewhere. So this is something that's kind of swimming on the far side there. Let's just have a good look there. Okay, let's see if that works. They look like two Egyptian geese that are swimming there in the far corner. Just when we zoom in there, yeah. Just kind of having their morning bath before they get their day going. Very still around this watering hole. And I mean, it's quite interesting at this time of the year. Big stretch from that Egyptian goose. Kind of cleaning their feathers before they start their day, having a good bath. It's interesting, this time of the year, this watering hole is normally quite close to dry. Oh, here's a hippo who's just popped his head up. Just let's see if the bar's not in the way. I might have to move a little bit for Odie. So I'm sure this hippo's had quite a long evening, probably covering large distances. You'll see at this time of the year when the grasses around the watering hole is slightly shorter. You'll have to cover quite a big distance. And the reason that the grasses around the watering hole are often shorter is because of the density of animals that'll come down to drink at this watering hole. From your impalas to your wildebeest to your zebras, they'll come down and they'll feed along the way. And obviously as they get closer from all angles around the watering hole, the density increases as they get closer to the watering hole, and that's when they start, or they really do eat lots of the grass, not leaving too much for the hippo. So he'll have to get out, and just, it looks like there's only one. Seems like a really good watering hole for only one lone bull hippo to be. I mean, maybe he was out at some point trying to compete for another watering hole against another dominant bull. Maybe he came off second best and kind of made his way back here to kind of lick his wounds, waiting for another opportunity to try and compete and take over his own watering hole where there might be some more females. Okay, so seems like a very still morning here. Beautiful morning. In fact, the water is crystal clear like glass. And I'm going to carry on from here. It doesn't seem like too much is happening, and I'll send you over to Grant at Phinda.
A very good morning to you all, and chilly welcome to andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. And just look at the lining of those clouds. The sun is just behind them at the moment. We've decided to come out and find a nice vantage point to show you the stunning Zululand scenery that we have here on Phinda, looking in an easterly direction. My name is Grant, and behind the camera we have Johan. And yeah, it's just such a crisp, clear morning. We thought we'd start with a little bit of a sunrise and just sit in this one particular spot and just listen for any sounds that might alert us to anything that might interest us to go and have a look. But otherwise, I think for this morning we're going to go and see what the lions that we ended the show with last night, what they're up to this morning. But for now, we're just enjoying this scene. We noticed that some of the water holes, there's an enormous amount of steam that is rising. So we've had unusually cold days with the air being really chilly, and the temperature of those water holes is a little bit higher, and so it's causing that steam to rise. Yeah, so stunning views here this morning, and while we enjoy this view, I'm going to send you across to Steve, who would like to say good morning to you all.
Good morning and welcome to the Bushwalk team here in Equatorial Islands. And everybody, my name is Steve, joined by Paul, and we have decided once again to climb up onto some rocks. These are called Leopard Cub, to show you this beautiful scene unfolding just below us over here. I hope that's all right with all of you. Another beautiful day in Africa. Saturday, I think. Yes, Saturday. I hope you're all doing well this morning. It warms my heart to see the amount of South Africans coming together in support of what's been going on. Definitely a reuniting experience. Many things are coming together, and bless all of those involved. Still heart and thoughts go out to all of those that have been affected, as we stand here and admire some beauty. Okay, well, we're going to stay here and soak up the sun and try to warm up a bit while we send you up to Lauren, who seems to have had some luck.
We have found a spotted kitty for the start of Catter Day. I don't know who it is yet. I've not had that full frontal visual, but I'm sure some of you on your big screens can possibly identify. It's been called in as Kara, then it was called in as Tavangumi. It's really tricky to tell, but this cat is interested in something. That's not a relaxed position. That's not a sitting, chilling position. That's a I'm about to pounce position. I don't know if they will pounce, but scrub hares, gerbos, mongoose, everything sort of sleep in the thicket here or move through the thicket here. Is that you, Karabara? I think it might be. It looks very feminine. I think it's Kara. Kara's really obvious to identify. She's got Hukumuri's eyes, 100%, and she's also got a big notch or a big slice missing out of her right ear. But it doesn't look like a male to me. Hello, Miss Hukadulu. That name means more than ever now that Hukumuri is not here. I'll keep using it just to honor the hook. I feel like we possibly were interested in something and now we're falling asleep. I love just watching a leopard and listening to the sounds of the morning, the sounds of the bush wake up. actually moved fairly north from where Tristan and Darby had it yesterday. She's now in that thick block between Aubrey's and Sandy Patch Road. So if she keeps moving in the direction that she's facing, she could well end up on Sandy Patch. I had Tavangumi in this block not so long ago. I think that's possibly why people thought that it might be Tavangumi. It's hard to identify a leopard on the move. People do make mistakes at identifying leopards, of course. It's not easy. That's why it's always better just coming here and checking. And seeing for yourself. It's definitely Cara, though. This is a small leopard. See that tail twitch, twitch, twitch. See the remarkable patience. I don't know what she's looking at. She's staying remarkably still. Andrew, 100%. Great start for a catcher day. Davy and I were actually saying last night, the sightings this stint have been nothing short of phenomenal. A lot of sightings, and it's because it is winter. Winter changes the landscape, it changes resource availability, and it changes behavior. Seasonal changes within the animals are becoming really apparent. Movements are becoming apparent. I mean, if you've been following us for a long time now, you'll know what a struggle it is in summer. I would not be where I am in the thicket right now, in the middle of the block, if it was summer, I can assure you. I wouldn't have even attempted it. Winter does deliver good sightings, and that's exactly what it's done. Been really, really lucky. And it's not just all about the cats. I had a fantastic honey badger yesterday. Okay, it was very brief. I had elephant sightings. Oh, she's moving. There's been a lot of buffalo around. Sadly, there's not any insects. I saw a comment the other day, why aren't they showing the insects? You all know I love insects, but really, there are no insects around. I mean, there's a few, but the bare minimum. The insect populations have completely dropped. Okay, the other vehicle's moving, so I just want to see where Aubrey's going to go in case she is hunting. Can you see her, Dwarf?
Not anymore.
No, she's completely disappeared. You shouldn't have too many vehicles with their engines on around sort of a hunting animal. So once Aubrey repositions, we will also reposition. Okay. We're going to try and keep up with our very busy Caribbean today, and we're going to send you guys over to Grant.
And you're going to... Welcome back, everyone, and we've managed to find a herd of buffaloes not too far from where we were just enjoying the sunrise. Oh, if you go onto that bull, Johan, just to... Okay, no, he's moving, don't worry. The big old bull, he just had a ray of sunlight coming from the back, and as he breathed out, as he exhaled, you could just see the steam coming from his nose. Oh. So I was just telling Johan, I've actually never seen a buffalo here, other than big bulls. And so it seems as though they're a little bit nervous. So another vehicle has just come past us. What I'm going to do, because we can't see any of them at the moment, I'm just going to move us forward a little bit. I do apologize if we lose you, or you lose us because of signal. We're going to lose these buffaloes. You can just see the backs of some of them there, Johan, just going through the trees. I will stop like that. Should be able to see a few of them. Yeah, so these buffaloes are slowly moving off. We're just getting views of them through the trees now, and the next road is very far on the other side. But it was a nice one to find. They seem to be slowly on the move for the day already, so just grazing and moving off. But we're going to leave them, let them do their morning business, and go see what else we can find for you. I'm going to send you back across to Lauren, who is still with Cara.
Her visual's still not great, but she's really focused on something. Look at those beautiful feminine little eyes. Hello, girl. I haven't seen you in a really long time. Young female leopards, just like Kalamba, they tend to be very busy, always on the move. Everything attracts their attention. I remember when Kalamba was that age. Killing everything that moves, honing in on those skills. I also believe there must be some sort of level of enjoyment there as well. You see how well they blend into their background. Look at that fierce look. Okay, we're going to sit here with Cara a little bit longer and see what she decides to get up to.
Hi, I'm Dee from the south coast of England. Today I was told I have won the most amazing prize to go to Marataba. Oh, I can't believe it. I became hooked on WildEarth last year when I was trying to escape COVID, and animals are my thing. I just love them and I love what WildEarth does. So that's why I wanted to become an explorer. Just so looking forward to going out to Marataba. Want to do a walking safari. Thank you so much, WildEarth.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. WildEarth Explorers. It's in your nature.
Hi, I'm Nikki, your guide here at andBeyond in Ngala. So my favorite animal in the African bush definitely has to be the zebra, because like people, with our fingerprints, every single zebra has a different stripe pattern. And, of course, a group of zebras together is called the dazzle. How unique is that? Come and join me or one of my colleagues here in Ngala for a sunrise and sunset safari on WildEarth.
This is a battle of two great carnivores of the African wilderness. Whew. Whoa! You don't want to be under those jaws. Definitely, this round goes to the lion. Look at that. Fantastic.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at andBeyond in Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through andBeyond in Ngala on WildEarth. Send me live questions through the WildEarth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush. Welcome back to andBeyond in Ngala, everybody. Now, we just had a hyena. It kind of curiously walked towards us and then walked along the road for a while. I just want to see if we can't find him again. They are incredibly camouflaged. And just like that, let's go a little bit further forward. Okay, so this seems like this hyena's disappeared. I'm going to send you back over to Lauren with Cara.
Joe's just sitting here, watching, not sleeping, not curled up, watching, listening. She can possibly hear things that we can't even begin to imagine. Maybe listening for movements of her prey, or listening for, I don't know, maybe lions calling, other leopards calling. I don't think we can even begin to imagine how they interpret their landscape. Okay, that just happened. There was a scrub here, I think. She's off. Oh my goodness. I think we need to do a big loop round in order to get on the right track. I don't think she caught it from what I could see. I could be wrong though. I saw her come down this way. Has she gone back up, Dad? She went, woo, okay. Okay, I'm gonna try and follow Miss Cara. We are gonna send you guys over to Tristan.
Well, we are saying good morning with absolute pandemonium. I don't know quite yet if it's the Telematis or the Djuma Pride have just chased Tswalu up a tree. So they're just busy slinking off through the thickets. Marcel was the one that actually found them this morning. So the lions are kind of heading in that direction. They were all around at the bottom of the tree, and I'll show you where Tswalu is now. Before we get into that, my name's Tristan. On camera I've got BK. BK? Nice morning back, isn't it? Hey, sure. You can see Tswalu is up high in a marula tree, just trying to get out of the way of all these lions. The lions won't be able to get up there to where she is, so she's perfectly safe there, and she'll wait until the lions move off. Once she knows the lions are gone, then she'll scamper down and off she'll go. Now, I'm not sure if she was just walking or if there was a kill involved. I haven't seen any lions eating anything, and the lions have just really been playing about. So I'm not 100% sure kind of what's the status at the moment, but I don't see any carcass dangling anywhere. I don't see any signs of food. So maybe she was just on a little patrol and she got bumped into by lions and therefore chased up the tree and put where she is now. I also have no idea how many lions are here. I've only seen sub-adults so far. I've seen a sub-adult female and 2 sub-adult males. The rest, I'm not sure. I don't know if potentially the rest have moved off, like I say. Once she knows, though, that they're far enough away, you'll find she's going to come down and just bolt straight away. And try and get out of here. And which way she goes, I'm not quite sure. But given that the lions are going in a southeasterly direction, I suspect that she's just going to run straight back west to Arathusa. We won't see much of her kind of sticking around. But she's way up. She's found herself actually a very good tree, all things considered, because lions, you know, can climb. A lot of people think that they don't climb, but they can. They can climb pretty well. So, you know, let's see. It looks like she might start coming down already. It's a bit precarious up there, so I don't think she want to be up there for long. If it was a nice marula tree with a nice branch, she might just lay there and kind of sleep the morning away. But given that it's a bit of a... You can hear the lions still playing here. They're crashing around. Jason from Michigan, you're saying you're glad she found a tree. Yes, I think we all are. I mean, it's, you know, it's something that they have to strive to do, otherwise they get themselves into a lot of trouble very quickly. I'm just going to reposition slightly just to try and see if A, we can get a better view of her, and B, if we can try and see where the lions are at the same time. We had a bit of a tech issue this morning with Rusty, so Rusty's been getting sorted out, but we had at one point, we had such a cool shot of lions on a termite mound and her sitting on top of the lion's head, which in the tree, you know, so it was just obviously the way that the camera rolls and the way that everything kind of works. It just looked like she was sitting on top of the lion's head at one point, which was quite fun to do, but unfortunately the lions moved off of the mound, so we're just going to move to here. That should be a lot better view for us to actually see her. She does not look chuffed with this morning's affairs, does she? She's got her stern face on, making out to be very bleak with life. I'm not surprised. It's also a very horrible tree that she's in. It's not going to be nice for her to be sitting like that. But I think it's almost time for her to come down. They don't need a lot of space for the lions to move off before they come down, because they know that if they come down quietly and then just slink off, the lions often can't find them. So I think she'll be all right. She's still watching in this direction. Maybe the lions are still sitting somewhere close by. You could hear them thudding along through the thickets. This area here, when the young ones play, because of the size that they're at now, whether it be Telematis or Nkuhumas, the young males are big and bulky. And so, you know, they thud into each other at times. So you can see she's still going to watch from here. What she'll do is she'll eventually, when everything is calm, I think maybe just even reposition a little bit. She might not come all the way down, but at least get herself a lot more comfortable. Crazy though. It's been quiet days on Djuma, now all of a sudden we've got leopards popping up everywhere, lions, madness. I'm sure she is very uncomfortable. It's not exactly the most luxurious of marulas, and she's gotten herself as high as that because she doesn't want to be found by these lions. So the lions climbing up there, while they could get up into the sort of bottom part of the tree, the top branches there are very heavy, very light, and so for a heavy animal like a lion, that wouldn't support their weight and the branch could potentially break, so they're a lot more nervous of going up that high, whereas she being so much lighter, and to give you an idea of how much lighter, she can be almost a third of the weight of a lioness, so it's much easier for her to get up into those small little spindly branches than it is for a lioness, and it's why she climbs so high. But I don't think I don't know if maybe there was a kill here, but to give you an idea of where we are, we literally can't quite see it, but we're about 300 meters from where we had Kara yesterday. Also up a tree as high as you could expect, but Kara didn't have the lions to worry about. So I don't know if she had a kill or if she maybe came in here tracking her daughter. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Now from this angle, obviously she's quite far from where I am, but I don't know if you guys can see any suckle marks in underneath that tummy. It's a really good angle to see suckle marks. I don't see anything myself, but maybe with the camera you guys can see better than I can. How beautiful is that morning light on her as well. Super pretty. I think she's settling in just to try and see where they've gone. Funny. She's got her gangster lean on now. Now she looks like she's a lounge cat, just kind of leaning on her little branch. You see how alert she is as well, so she's watching very carefully where those lions are going. I expect those lions are going to move and carry on. What we'll do is we'll sit with her for a little bit. Once she comes down, I'm not going to follow her, because what's going to happen is as she plops down, she's going to try and run away, and with us crashing behind her, I don't want to attract attention back to her, and the lions come kind of following back to where she is. I think she's going to come down now, so then we'll go off to the lions. I know a lot of you have been looking forward to seeing lions the last few days, so we'll try and kind of figure out where they go and what they do. I also am not sure which lions it is, so it'll be interesting to see. The direction that they're heading is south, so it could very well be some of the sub-adults from the Djuma Pride, but it could also be the Talamatis there. Talamatis actually weren't that far from this area yesterday. Isn't that light pretty on her though? It's like that perfect golden morning light. Her sitting up the tree. You can see where she's looking is where the lions are. She's keeping a very close eye out on where they're heading. But I'm pretty sure the distance now has gotten too much that they're eventually gonna that she's gonna come down shortly. I don't think she's gonna stay up there much longer. Especially because, I can't see any lions anymore. I can't even hear them anymore. They must have covered a fair amount of ground by now. There she comes. See how loose those branches are, even just her movement, how much they're swaying. The lions will not enjoy swaying branches like that, so. Amazing how adept they are at climbing even in these small little trees. You see, she's trying to figure out a way to come down easily. Shame my girl is a little branchy up there. Going up is always easier than coming down, because when you're going up you're full of adrenaline, and it's quick and you just bust through all of that stuff. But coming down, it's a lot more difficult to place your feet and to figure out where they are. And let's see if she keeps coming. But so Tswalu's lineage, she comes from a female called the Ingrid Dam female on Londolozi. And her dad is Anderson. So another male leopard. He's unfortunately died. Ingrid Dam hasn't been seen in a long time, so yeah, I'm not sure what happened to her. But she comes from the Londolozi side of things. So she was just called Ingrid Dam young female for quite a while, before she was eventually given the Tswalu name. Like I say, once she comes down, we'll try and see if we can get a view of the lions. Because like I said, I don't want to follow her once she's down. It just attracts so much attention to her with clattering of branches, and I'm pretty sure she's going to head straight to the west. I don't think she's going to... Let's see which way she's... I hope she doesn't come down the other side. It would be nice if she comes down this side. But it looks like she's going to go down the other side. Of course. And there we go. Off she goes. I'm pretty sure she's going to just quickly, once she's down, she'll stop. And you see, look, there she slinks off and runs away. She's going to try and get out of this area as quick as possible. So instead of kind of pressurizing her and putting stress on her more than we really kind of had this morning with the lions, I think we just let her go and just let her move off a little bit. Like I said, we'll go try and catch up on the lions and see what they get up to.
Welcome back to andBeyond and Ngala, everybody. Now, what's caught my attention on the road here is a pair of green-winged Patillas. And they're actually incredibly beautiful little birds. I'm just hoping one of them pops their heads out into the ground, into the road, rather. I mean, although the grass is super short in the middle of the road, they still disappear. They're tiny little birds. I mean, in the book it says they're about 13 centimeters tall, so tiny little bird, just longer than one of your fingers. And it's interesting to see these two together. I mean, it'll be a male and a female. I'm trying to see exactly which one is the male and which one's the female. The male will have that orange. Okay, there we go. The one closest to us with the orange face is the male, and the female at the back. And they will be together for life, monogamous breeders. And what they're doing here is they're just kind of looking for food. They do feed predominantly on seeds. They do, from time to time, eat insects, predominantly termites. But at this time of the year, mostly seeds. And they really are quite pretty birds. I want particularly that male to pop himself out to show you. And if he doesn't, I do have a book here to kind of show you what they look like. So let's quickly have a look at what they look like in the book here, because they are really beautiful birds. So these green-winged Patillas are these guys over here, and they've got this kind of barring or kind of spots on the chest. And the male is this one over here. As you can see, he's got this red throat and red top of the head here. The female looking a little bit more dull and a little bit more plain. Got this red tail, which is quite an easy identifier when flying around. You'll see they often hang around with wax balls and finches, kind of feeding on the same thing, helping each other look for food. Let's see if they won't pop out here. I mean, obviously there's not that much seeds in the road unless it gets blown there or disturbed there. So they will hang out in the middle of the road looking for seeds. Let's see what they carry on doing. I might carry on down the road, see what else we can find this morning.
Welcome back, everyone, and we've come to the same waterhole as yesterday here on Phinda, and we've just come to the most amazing scene of obviously these hippos that you can see out of the water again, but there is just steam rising all around them. It's just really an amazing scene. Big flop down. Can you all see that steam that's moving around these hippos? So those of you that have been with us from the beginning of the show, we were up on a hill much further west of this this waterhole, and you can see the steam slowly moving from right to left now, but earlier on, just before the sun was rising, there was no breeze at all, and all the steam was rising straight up, and we could see it. It almost looked like there was a fire here. But now, as the sun slowly warms up, you can see it shining onto the side of that hippo. And as the sun rises and warms up more and more, this steam that's rising from the waterhole is going to slowly disappear. And the steam that we're seeing is just because of a difference in the temperature from the water to the air. So on this occasion, the water is actually warmer than the air. And it's causing that evaporation to be visible to the eye, just because of how crispy cold the air is. And Johan and I were actually just remarking on our way to this waterhole how crazy the difference in temperature is from when you're sitting still. Like sitting still right now, it's such a comfortable, I mean, I wouldn't say it's warm, but it's a comfortable temperature, not feeling cold. But the second we start driving, it's like your nose starts to water, your nose starts to run, your eyes start to water, my ears burn, and then it feels like you've got a brain freeze from an ice cream, even with a beanie on my head. But what an amazing scene. And I'm very glad we were able to bring it to you from this side of the waterhole. We usually don't actually have signal to come to you from here. Yeah, FM, I'm at Chimongwa Dam, I'm heading into that area. So from this waterhole, we are planning on heading into the direction where we saw some lions last night feeding on the remains of a Ngala carcass. But there was not too much left, and those lions, it was a mom and her 3 sub-adult females. So those three sub-adults are growing at a rapid rate, and they need to eat very regularly. So mom is hunting quite often. Yes. This is so cool. So we're doing a little bit of three-way communication here because we don't have cell phone comms, so we're just trying to stay in touch with the FC. Will, you're asking me if hippos have different vocalizations, and sure, I'm gonna have to go and look that up because I have never read anything about that. I've never noticed that. So my answer to you would be yes, because the different vocalizations that I've seen, I mean, they use the grunting sound, the typical grunting sort of roaring sound that they make. But another type of vocalization that they do is that blowing out through their nose and making those bubbles on the water. But yeah, well, I'm gonna have to go and have a look and see if I can find any information on that for you, because I've never come across that question or come across any information about that. But thank you for the question. It's a great question. Right now, as you can see, they're not doing any communicating. The two that are lying down sleeping, they're just trying to get some rest. I'm sure these hippos were out and about grazing last night. And they would have come back a little bit before the sunrise. Maybe even while it was still dark before first light. So there's beautiful bird calls around. The hippos are just sunning themselves. I think from here we're going to carry on, move on from these hippos and go in the direction of where we left the lions last night. And while we do that, I'm going to send you across to Tristan, see what he's got.
Well, we've caught up with two members of the pride that are a little bit lost, one of the young females and one of the young boys, and they're contact calling, trying to figure out where the rest are. So they're just standing at this stage, trying to work out where everybody else is. They've covered quite a lot of ground. The rest of the pride, if they've moved in the direction that they are sitting currently, then you two both can't fit on top of the mound. Silly cats. Then the rest should be somewhere close to quarantine already. That's how far they've gone. Move pretty quickly through the block. I'm just going to reposition slightly so we can have a better view of them, because this is not great where we are. We'll try to get better light on them and see if we can't win. little bit of a big loop round, just so that we can get into the right place, because, well, where they're sitting, there's a few branches, so we're just going to need to go around. Sliding somewhere here. Of course, there's 500 million sticks in front of their faces here, BK, but don't worry, I've got this. We'll try and figure this out, Beaks. Hold on. Like I say, 1,000,001 branches in front of their face, but maybe from here it's going to be a little bit nicer. This at least a little bit more open. Better, Beaker. There we go. I thought maybe we could find a gap somewhere, but those there's little trees on the right side, unfortunately, are blocking their faces. But you can see the size difference between these two. I mean, look at how much bigger that male is already compared to the little female behind, and they could easily be siblings, these two, but yet there's you see a little contact call. So when they're trying to find the pride, what they'll do is they'll just sit like this, and then they contact call, and then they listen. Where's the rest of them calling from? And then they can try and find them. Just keep quiet for a bit. Isn't that beautiful? They're listening to some elephants that are feeding close by. It's a pretty cool picture with the two of them kind of staring exactly in the same direction. Elephants. There's definitely more of the pride when we first arrived with Tswalu, so it's not just the two of them. I saw at least 5 lions when we first got there. So it should be most of the pride should be here. Alright, well, we'll sit here and just listen to them. Hopefully they'll get a response, and we'll get the reunion of these two with the rest of them.
Hello, my name is Marnie Kell from the Greater Toronto area of Ontario, Canada. I am most excited to meet some of the guides that I feel I already know. And I'm going to very much enjoy riding along with them to see what they see most days while they're broadcasting these safaris to us, while also staying at the beautiful Simbambili Lodge. WildEarth has brought so much to my life, and I am thrilled and grateful to have this opportunity. Thank you.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature.
There's a grounding earthiness to this place that we feel in our ancestors. It's a place where, believe it or not, we evolved as a human species, and anyone who's come to Africa will understand that. The connectivity that the continent has to the person and to people's souls is next level. I'm thoroughly looking forward to taking you on your next adventure when we explore all the small and big things.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
Looks like it's a very difficult climb because every time it tries to climb, the ground is breaking, so it slides down. But it's the only one. Look at that. That is call of desperation with the cub. It's like, what are you doing, mommy? Oops. Oof.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
Hello, I'm Marna, your WildEarth Safari Guide from andBeyond Ngala. What I really like about connecting with WildEarth viewers is that we get to speak to viewers instantly, and I get to show you this beautiful property. If you want to ask me a question, register on the WildEarth website. Simply head over to the live safari page and you can submit your questions there. Join me or one of the other guides twice a day on WildEarth.
Well, these two lions have just got up and run, so I'm pretty sure the rest of the pride has made a kill. What are they? Oh, no, you're going to have to cut away from us, Elton. Sorry, you're going to have to cut away from us right now. Alright, so we're going to send you across to Dan while I try and just figure this out.
Welcome back to andBeyond Ngala, everybody, and how amazing is this? Come back to the spot where we were yesterday, and these three leopards are still in exactly the same place, and they've revealed that there is in fact a carcass here, and you can see that little cub kind of pulling its head and turning its head, and it's busy feeding. Looks a little bit tricky. The mother is in the tree. I'm not going to have a look at her just yet. I'm just going to spend a bit of time watching this little one feeding, and it's only been eating meat for a couple of weeks now. And this little cub, probably around 18 weeks old, just about 4.5 months, around 4 to 4.5 months old. Look how it's pulling, and it's trying to get as much meat as it possibly can off of the little bits that are left. It doesn't look like there's too much meat left there, and I can't see exactly what the carcass was. But it's hoisted perfectly in this jackalberry on a nice horizontal branch, allowing this cub lots of room to play. And I mean, you can see it's not easy. It's kind of fighting there. Beautiful tree. I mean, wow, we like this. Have a look at the female. She's also just in the tree, kind of sleeping. I'm sure she's had a lot to eat. That little cub is now also kind of standing up and maneuvering the carcass, which is quite interesting. I mean, luckily for this little cub that it is in a really nice spot with a horizontal branch, or else it's quite risky because there are hyenas. There was a hyena on the track as I drove in, kind of waiting for maybe a piece of the carcass to drop. And little cubs like this, they're nowhere near as strong as the female, and that carcass will weigh much, much more than the little one. So if it does start to fall, gravity's going to take its toll and it's going to drop out of the tree, and that's what the hyenas are waiting for. And it's not uncommon for cubs to drop carcasses because they are kind of learning how to maneuver around a tree. At least this is a really nice tree, and that branch is big enough to hold the whole carcass comfortably. And then, I mean, as it starts to eat as well, you'll see as soon as the meat starts to deplete, because the female would have eaten a large part of this carcass as well, meaning that little legs are maybe being held on by tendons that the cub is going to be gnawing at, and then the gravity's going to drop, and maybe one leg at a time will drop until the whole thing maybe drops out of the tree, and then it's going to be over for these three. They're close to water, maybe go have a drink, and then they'll move on. They are safe up in the tree though. I mean, hyenas will be at the bottom waiting for them. Leopards are incredibly well adapted and designed to climbing up into trees and staying there, whereas hyenas, they're not so well adapted to climbing up into trees, so they'll be hanging around at the bottom waiting for the scraps. They are incredibly patient as well. So I did just get a glimpse of a tail of the other cub, which is on the other side of the tree. No, I can't see it for now, but I'm really hoping that it might be coming down to kind of come and join its sibling while feeding. It'll be very interesting. Yesterday we had my first proper look at these two to try and sex them, and it looked like there was at least a young female, and I wonder if the other cub hasn't already eaten, If it has eaten, it'll very likely be the male, or if it's waiting its turn, it'll very likely be a female, because you'll see even at this young age, these two cubs, if there's a male and if there is a female, maybe if there's two females, it'll be quite evenly matched. But even at this young age, the males would have already grown a little bit more, and weighing slightly more and being a little bit stronger. They will outcompete their other sibling around a carcass like this. So if we're lucky enough and they stand up and they start to move around, look how it has to push, use its other paw to kind of push against and use its neck muscles, which it's still developing, to try and pull at the meat. And you'll see even this little cub with short, sharp little teeth. I mean, the teeth aren't yet so well adapted to eating meat, and they will still be suckling. But they've got these short little sharp teeth that it'll be using to pull at the meat. And sometimes it'll turn its head. It's got these special teeth on the sides of their mouths called the carnassial shear, which will act like a pair of scissors to try and cut through some of the tougher tendons, maybe some skin from time to time. I mean, what a great job by this female. Firstly, making a kill. It's never easy hunting out here. Being a predator, you've got to work incredibly hard for your food. And then to find a tree like this, I'm sure it was close by. She wouldn't have dragged the carcass too far to get towards this tree to put it up. And now she's kind of just reaping the rewards of having a carcass up in the tree, having both her cubs fed, herself fed as well, just taking it super easy, catching up on some well-deserved rest. And she doesn't look so comfortable for now. You know, her head looks like it's turned the other way. Her feet, look at her three legs on the far right-hand side kind of lounged over the tree there, and then her front right leg kind of around the branch, making herself quite comfortable. But her head, I'm just waiting for her to pop her head out this way, and you'll see she will do that from time to time. Now she seems to be sleeping, but if a hyena maybe gets a little bit closer, just to make sure she knows exactly what's going on, she will watch to any kind of movement and disturbance on the ground here. She's not fussed or worried about us whatsoever, even while I'm talking here and we're quite close. She's not even watching us. She is listening, but this is quite usual, and she will be able to understand exactly what's going on. And we're right on the riverbed here as well. She'll keep a close lookout as to what might be passing through the riverbed, but up in the tree, super safe from most things. Maybe a male leopard would come and be a serious threat to this. If there was a male leopard, even a young male leopard, you'll see in this area there are a few young male leopards. We've got a kind of like a void in this area with dominant male leopards. Oh, African green pigeon calling in the tree above us. But even a young male leopard that would come through here would threaten these cubs, and the mom would sacrifice that carcass without hesitation, particularly seeing as they've fed already. Both cubs seem to be quite well fed, and the mother's already taking it easy. I'm sure she's eaten a lot, and just the fact that I can't even identify what carcass it was, it might have been here a few days already. Would have certainly been here yesterday. Can you hear that strange noise? That's that green pigeon calling at the top of the tree. It's a really bizarre call, in fact. And just have a look at those spots on that little lip. Oh, having a look at us, licking its lips. That taste of fresh blood and fresh meat, particularly for the first time, must be... Actually, that's quite interesting. So I was talking about this carcass like dangling on a leg. So Odie, can you see in the tree there, just below the cub, there is a leg that's hanging in the tree there. So this is exactly what will happen. While this cub is feeding and gnawing through skin and tendons and like eating away at some pieces, bits and pieces of the carcass will drop down a little bit lower their oats. So like those bottom hanging... Let's see if Odie can find it. Maybe just have a look with the naked eye quickly, Odie. You see at the base there, there's a leg that's hanging in the tree there. So have a look at this, how this tree has actually caught the leg. And this might be it looks like an impala's leg, in fact. You see that big black kind of thing. There's the hoof at the bottom, and then there's this big black, what is like a scent gland behind there. It looks like the leg of an impala. And you see how the meat at the top of the bone is completely stripped off. And that would have like separated the leg from the rest of the carcass and dropped it. And I'm sure that'll be incredibly frustrating to a hyena, because it's still well out of reach from the hyena and so close to dropping. That leg, man, if the wind doesn't blow it... Oh, and the female's also just moved her head a little bit. She's now keeping a real good lookout, watching. What a beautiful scene, eh? What a beautiful tree. 3 leopards up in the tree as well. And this female just watching, ever proud. She is beautiful, isn't she? And I mean, when I first started here, she was a smaller cub. Her mother was the black dam female, and the older she gets, the more and more she looks like her mother. It's so amazing being able to spend time in these areas and watch and follow these animals develop over many years. It's fascinating. You'll see some tendencies similar to that of their parents. Other tendencies are completely unique. And as she gets older, she is starting to relax. She's an incredibly intelligent leopard. When you track her, you can kind of see just how intelligent she is. And leopards are so naturally secretive and shy animals. If they don't want to be seen, they won't be. And you'll see when tracking leopards, I've even seen while tracking this specific leopard, it's almost like she's walking along a game path, following the tracks, and you kind of get to a road where you should be able to see her tracks on the road. And it's almost like she jumps over the road, trying to avoid us kind of following her. He's just watching right at us, really showing off now. He's dead still. She's just listening. Feeling very tired. Odie seems to have found the other little cub. Okay, I can't see it. It's behind the branch, but I can see the head of the other one is a little bit further behind Mom. So it's interesting, that little cub at the back there starting to move around a little bit more. It was very cold last night. Oh, look at Mum snarling a little bit. If she hasn't got an itch. And starting to warm up a little bit. The sun's coming through, even getting into the canopy of the tree. Be very interesting to see if that other cub doesn't come down and join the other one on the carcass. That'll be interesting to see the dynamic, and we'll be able to sex them a little bit easier like that. So here we are, female's eyes kind of closing. She's moved her head around this tree, but ever watchful. Wonder if she's not seeing our hyena that's coming closer. She is snarling from time to time, kind of showing her teeth. I mean, she's not worried about a hyena getting up towards her, but she'll be trying to assert dominance. Oh, it's exactly what's happening. Here comes a hyena just to our left. Little cub's watching very carefully. There we go. Hyena in the beautiful sunlight, smelling. Smelling and watching. Trying to see if there aren't any pieces that have fallen. You'll see the female, although her eyes are closed now, she's very well aware that that hyena is there. She's very safe up in the tree, and she's well aware of that. The cub up in the tree as well. Super safe. Cub's even gone back to eating. It's quite an interesting dynamic, this. And, I mean, in an area where hyena density is so high, this hyena moving through would have just caught the smell of this carcass moving through, maybe even just the smell of the leopards, and followed it through here until it gets to the tree and finds out exactly what's happening. And yes, there's no carcass for it right now, but little bits and pieces will be dropping from time to time, keeping that hyena interested and occupied for maybe days. Welcome back, and this little leopard cub has kind of stopped feeding, and why? There's a hyena that's just come through here. Have a look at this hyena in the beautiful sunlight. I'm sure it's been resting around, and it'll wake up from time to time, kind of come back towards the tree, see if anything has changed in the time that it was sleeping or resting. See if maybe that leg that was caught in the tree has dropped, smelling around. The female was kind of snarling at this hyena as it approached the tree, but this hyena has worked out very quickly that that carcass isn't going anywhere right now, and might go back and find a spot to rest and sleep and wait for the situation to change a little bit. Wait for the female to maybe go towards the carcass. Maybe she tries to reposition it and drops either the whole thing or little bits and pieces. He's super comfortable and super content. I mean, it's so interesting in an area like this, particularly if I compare it to guiding at an area like Phinda. I mean, Phinda's actually got a really high leopard density, but they don't have a high hyena density like we do, and people often have this kind of association with leopards and carcasses in beautiful trees like this. And yes, this is a beautiful leopard tree, but it's not always so lucky to have this kind of opportunity to view it, because they're not always spoiled for choice. So they might even put carcasses up into small little bushes, kind of keep them away from the hyenas. That little one kind of turning its head, watching. It's super interesting for it to be watching hyenas come through, watching us, listening to us. And so in areas of Phinda where the hyena density isn't so high, they will often eat their carcasses on the floor and try and store them under kind of bushes and grasses. Try and keep them out of the sight of vultures particularly. This little one just fighting with the carcass, just trying to find little bits and pieces. The female as well, watching so carefully. I'm super interested to see the other one hasn't come through just yet. That might suggest that there is a young male and a young female, with the young male kind of completely dominating. Okay, so I'm going to make some space for another vehicle for now. I might come back in here a little bit later. In the meantime, I'm going to send you over to Grant. It'll be interesting to see what happens here in the next hour or so.
I'm super excited. I actually am not too sure if this bird has ever been shown on WildEarth before. So all the birders watching, this is a quiz. I won't tell you exactly what bird it is straight off the bat, but if any of you know, please do let us know. Points go to the first correct answer. Now, it is a very, 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 very long way off. But it's got a grayish head and chest with a little bit of streaking on the chest, but something that is, and a lighter colored chest and belly with barring going across. I'm just wanting to pull it up in my book, but it is an endemic species. Sorry, I shouldn't say endemic species. A near endemic species for Phinda, so for the Zululand, Maputaland area. It doesn't have a very big distribution at all, and it is considered as critically endangered. And a clue. So what you can't see from there, from this distance, is that it's got a yellow sear to the bill. So the base, basically, of the bill has got a black tip with a yellow sear, a yellow eye, and yellow legs. And another clue that I'll give you is that the legs are bare of feathers. And what it does have on its tail, which might be a bit of a giveaway, is 3 pretty prominent, clear bands across the tail, which you also can't really see from here. I apologize about the distance. But Peter, spot on. Well done. That bird that you can see in the tree over there is in fact a southern banded snake eagle. Well done, Peter. So can we show them in the book quickly, Johan? Sorry, I'm asking a lot of you. Johan's like maneuvering like a little ninja on the back of the vehicle here. So I'm just holding the book up, and it's this bird over here. So I'm blocking the name a little bit. So southern banded snake eagle. You'll see the grey, very grey head that I was talking about, with a lighter breast and belly. Breast and belly with barring going across. And then you see those 3 bands on the tail. So that's where it gets its name, southern banded snake eagle. And if you go across this side, Johan, to the information, you'll see the distribution is quite small. And it's separated. So there's this little section in South Africa going up into Mozambique. And then there's that section in further north in Mozambique. And if you read in the information on the status, it is an uncommon to rare resident, but the SA status critically endangered, possibly less than 50 pairs in South Africa. So we're looking at, or potentially looking at, one of only 100 birds there. So that is quite an exciting thing to see. And we are still with these hippos. We're going to have one last look at them. I know I said we'd move on earlier, but you know, that's the thing about the bush, is it changes your plans all the time. And I wanted to get back to Will's question. Sorry. It was Will's question, and I misread your question earlier. I thought you were asking me what do the different vocalizations of hippos mean, but you actually asked, do hippos have different vocalizations? And they definitely do. So in the mammals book that I use, it refers to them as snorts, grumbles, and then a wheeze honking sound. It's almost like a donkey kind of sound mixed with all that snorting that comes out of the nose. And they also have a number of communications that they do underwater. Also similar in sound to that of a dolphin, so different to the ones that they do above the water. They actually do a number of vocalizations under the water. And what's pretty amazing with the vocalizations of hippos is that they, with their ears above the water, they can interpret the sounds going on below the water through their jaw. Their lower jaw actually connects directly to their inner ear, and it vibrates, and they're able to hear the grunts underwater, even though their ears are above the water. So I also kind of stuck around because I wanted to answer Will's question as best as I can, and then we managed to spot that southern banded snake eagle, and I thought we had to show you that. So we're going to, from here, slowly move along and go and look in the area where we last saw the lions last night. But if we have no luck, I have heard on the radio that some cheetah have been found, so hopefully bring you some spots later on. And that hippo that's standing up at the moment, you will notice on its side it's actually got quite a lot of scarring. If we go in closer, and you'll see all the scars have healed, but there are definitely a lot of scars on its side. And there was a question yesterday, I apologize, forgive me for forgetting who asked the question, but was to do with aging hippos, and it is very, very difficult to age a hippo, but you can sort of estimate the age of the hippo based on the condition of its skin.
Suspended above Kenya's Masai Mara is a breathtaking lodge where unrivaled service goes hand in hand with extraordinary wildlife sightings. Ngala Mara offers a quiet place where guests have the opportunity to reconnect with the world again. Sign up to be a WildEarth Explorer before the end of July, and you and a friend could win a 3-night stay at this award-winning lodge. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature. The importance of forests cannot be underestimated. Over 1 billion people live in and around forests, depending on them for fuel, food, medicine, and building materials. The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, is the national implementer for a program called LEAF. The LEAF program makes use of indigenous forests grown on school properties to teach pupils about biodiversity. This directly instills a sense of ownership of the natural surroundings and reconnects children with our biomes and heritage. WESA needs your help to bring nature back to schools. Ask your school to join the program through the link on their website. Together with WESA, you can help take this incredible program to schools across the country.
Okay, there's another big male coming in from our left here. Another big male, look at this. This is the one. Now you're going to see sparks fly, guys. Guys, it doesn't get better than this, eh? Yes, unbelievable. Africa, I love you, eh?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
We've managed to find some elephants. And guess who's still sitting under the tree of Tlalamba's kill? I'll give you a clue. It's not Tlalamba. She's long gone. But June is still there, hoping for a massive gust of wind. It's going to just blow that jackalberry, shake it, and then the remains of that impala falls to the ground into her jaws. I have a funny feeling it's not going to happen, but June is very much hoping that that is what's going to happen. She's still sitting under the jackalberry, under that carcass. June. But it's not windy, and the tree's not shaking. Well, these trees are shaking because of you guys. There's just elephants everywhere. It is so, so wonderful. And they're all very relaxed. Really, I remember 2 years ago now. Oh no, sorry, I lied. 3, almost 3. Just watching this elephant, trying to figure out what it's actually doing. The drongo is also watching the elephant, but for different reasons. The drongo knows what the elephant's doing. Almost looks a little bit sinister with the tusk. The tusk isn't actually that close to the drongo. It's the angle. It's an optical illusion. It's making you look very brave, Mr. Drongo. Anyway, almost 3 years ago, the elephants were not this relaxed. Their behavior had changed after the drought, after the lack of water, into a tough, tough winter. The behavior was not as relaxed, in my opinion, in my memory. There's a lot of sort of nervous, stressed animals. Animals do get stressed. We went into that in great depth the other day. It's not the same stress that we get. Oh, I need to do the laundry. Oh my goodness, I've got the ironings building up. It's not the same, but they do get stressed. We pass many elephants now. They're all along Central. And I mean, that young bull, young bulls are known to be show-offs, shall we say. They like to show off. And of course, that bull falling asleep yesterday was really quite something. Did you catch that name, Dove?
Andrew.
Andrew, elephant population questions are a little bit tricky, to be honest. Elephants do break down trees, and they do bring trees to their knees, if you like, and push them over. And this is actually really important in the environment. So there's 2 things you're asking here, and elephants are a keystone species. And they really influence the healthy functioning of an ecosystem, if you like. And they're said to be the mammalian driving force behind the maintenance of the bushveld habitat, and that is by cropping the vegetation, and that is by being bioengineers, stopping it reaching what you would call a forest climax. If all the trees just continues to grow and grow and grow, it would reach a forest climax. And although they're very destructive, I think that's what you're getting at, it's actually really necessary that they do that. So although they're pushing trees to the ground, that has positive ecological repercussions. So by pushing over a tree, you're providing browse at ground level for all those small little herbivores, especially in winter when animals are struggling. from the very, very small little mammals to slightly bigger mammals that don't normally have access to that browse because it's too high. It's also creating little tiny micro-habitats for both breeding and, I guess, the survival of small ground creatures, not just mammals. But, I mean, you've got your rodents, they are mammals, but then reptiles. There's not really many amphibians around right now, but even any insects that are around that are struggling with the cold temperatures, providing lots of microhabitats for them. Then also the nutrient cycle that's constantly at play. We just don't see it. It's not visible. So by pushing over these trees, the nutrients are recycled back into the soil through decay. Just like ash after a fire. That's why on the fire breaks, the soil is very nutritious right now. And lastly, I mean, in winter it's not so much the case, but if any of the trees have fruit, that fruit is also knocked over and fallen to the ground. So all these smaller little animals have access to it. So they are all the positive ecological repercussions, if you like. But when it comes to elephant populations, that's a sort of separate matter. I mean, I think it was 1996. Here, in this area, was the last cull. And they used to cull elephants at about 900 per year. But really, I mean, that's a tricky one. Who decides how many elephants get culled and what's the maximum carrying capacity for a specific area? Now, that's a really difficult decision. And back then it was determined around 7,500 elephants for the Kruger area was the right amount. So anything above that, they used to shoot, and it used to come in at about 900 per year. There's lots of different ways to control elephants, from vasectomies, which is very costly and not really practical, contraceptive for the females, which can result in a hormonal mess, but it also can be successful, and immunocontraception. This is the most successful one, not on hormones, but using a immune response to block the fertilization of eggs. Sometimes in the Kruger, they also close water points, so that indirectly changes the elephant's movement. So there's different ways to control the populations. But yes, it's very difficult to determine the right number of elephants for an area. So instead of culling, they do look at other options. And the immune contraception is an interesting one because it uses proteins that are extracted from the eggs of female pigs. And basically when they inject that into elephants, along with other substances, these proteins from the pig actually successfully stop the sperm from binding to the egg. Therefore, it cannot penetrate and fertilize the eggs when the elephant or the cow is ovulating. So they just inject this substance into them, and it's got protein from a pig along with sort of immunologically enhancing substances to create a response from the immune system. So the elephant basically creates an antibody, and the antibody is what stops the sperm penetrating the egg. It's actually also been used in horses. I think it was first tested on a zoo elephant long ago, but that's a promising one to control populations. But even when the populations are controlled, elephants being destructive feeders is still really important for the ecosystem, especially the bushveld habitat. It just looks very destructive to humans. And I guess it is destructive for the tree as well. Keystone species, bioengineers. They do try to protect some trees out here by putting cans, aluminium cans on the trees to deter the elephants, or wrapping the trunks in mesh to stop them barking or ring barking the trees. yes, of course, or they wouldn't eat it. But in winter, they do adapt their diet. You'll see them eating a lot of different things, and mostly branches and twigs to get the browse and the cambium layers. But they wouldn't eat grass if it wasn't nutritious or delicious. So, I mean, it's dry grass. It's definitely not going to be the same as it was in summer. But there has to be nutrients in it. And they are unselective bulk feeders. So when it comes to elephants, quantity over quality. They'll just keep eating, eating, eating. But you will see them eat lots of different things in winter because they're adapting to the seasonal change. But they have to be getting nutrients from the dry grass. I don't know what the nutrient level is. We went into quite a good discussion about that the other day. But you will see them, especially here, eat a lot more branches, twigs, and glean the leaves off the trees. Megan, they're one of them. There's many in nature. But out here in this environment, they are nature's landscapers. You can call them architects or bioengineers, whatever you like, but that's exactly what they're doing, landscaping. Termites do that too. The giant mole rats in Ethiopia and the Bali Mountains, they are the landscapers up there. Providing a really, really important function for the ecosystem. But touching on the question again, of course, if there's too many elephants, the ecosystem can't recover quickly enough. But the question remains, just what is that number and who decides? It can't just be one person that sits on a board and decides, okay, 7,500, where does that number come from? You really have to sort of go deep into what the actual carrying capacity for an ecosystem is. And closing water points to change movements is obviously least invasive. Try and see if you can just change their pattern so they don't come here and they go elsewhere to look for water. Okay, we are thoroughly enjoying this site, and so I'm just going to sit here a little bit longer to watch the landscapers. We're just sitting here watching some ellies have their breakfast. Very relaxed. Starting to feel the warmth from the sun now. Oh, that'll be that branch. So we're just going to sit here, listen to all the sounds of the crunching, and watch the ellies as they feed. Can you hear them? I hope you can. Just crunching away, feeding quite happily on all the delicious vegetation. We're still sitting here. I'm just thoroughly enjoying my elephant sightings these days. I was very lucky yesterday. Oh, that tree was not lucky. Can't see what it is through here. We're sitting behind a lot of trees, but that branch is gone. So in bulk feeding, when it's quantity over quality, probably doesn't matter that it's dry grass, as long as you just keep eating and eating and eating. I mean, as most of you know, elephants have quite a poor digestive system anyway. So they just got to keep their stomachs topped up. I wish humans could do that. Can you hear the drone go? Wasn't that moment just so peaceful? I hope if it's morning time where you are having a coffee, just enjoying that. So as we sit with our Ellies, we're going to send you guys over to Gran in Phinda.
Welcome back to Phinda, everyone, where we've caught up with these two male cheetah. Look at this near one, Johan. He's going to mark, I'm quite sure he's going to, oh, look at that wound on his elbow. He's going to smell. Look at how he's smelling intensely on this tree. This is a massive marula tree, a very prominent landmark in this area that we're in. Sorry, I can't resist the photo at the moment. It's stunning light. And watch how much focus they give and energy they give and time they spend. Oh, he might go into that gap. Come on. Oh, he was looking up like he wanted to jump. There's quite a low fork in this particular marula tree. Seemed that looked as though he wanted to jump up. But look at that, lifting the tail. And look at the tail, how the tail vibrates as he sprays. So he's actually urinating on the tree, marking his territory. Look at that. Oh, okay, one one of them has just laid down, so that's a good thing. You can see the patch, the wet patch on that tree next to that cheetah, and that's where his brother was urinating. So I was just saying, this big marula tree in this quite open area is a very prominent feature or a prominent landmark, and these two males, any females that come past this area, they will definitely come and investigate this marula tree. And it's basically just a big signpost where they will deposit their scent for other cheetah to smell. You might see the bonnet of another car there. That is Damon, another WildEarth ranger that a lot of you will know. We're currently enjoying this sighting with him and his guest. Stunning. I mean, there's a smell there that got his attention. They look like they're heading back in the direction that they've just come from. So this is actually a first time for me to see these two males in this area. I wonder what they're doing, because they've come quite a distance from that side, all the way here. Maybe, oh, he's gonna jump. He's gonna jump. Come on. Is he gonna jump? Look how he's looking up. Sharpening the claws. Look at that. He's standing up on his two back legs. And spraying again. Oh, that is just an amazing Phinda scene for you. Cheetah, two male cheetahs scent marking on a marula tree. These two particular male cheetah are really, really stunning. I'd love to show you them up close. It looks as though one of them has sat down. Now with these two males, there is the one that's slightly more dominant, and he seems to set the pace and determine what the two of them are going to be doing. And if he moves, his brother follows him. And on our way here, not too far from where we are right now, we did see a herd of impalas, but it seems as though these guys haven't spotted them yet.
Hello everyone, my name is Trishala and I am a naturalist and safari guide here in Djuma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands in South Africa. I think that the information that we provide, and most importantly the questions that you ask, give both you and I a really good idea of what's going on. My friend Fernando here, he's a flat-necked chameleon and I love them. They're just these gems that you manage to find in the bush.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
I've seen something I've never seen here before. Look at these cubs. One is crossing the river. It's being washed away, unfortunately, but I'm sure the mother is going to save her. Look at that. How beautiful. Look at that. One crossing, two to go. How cool is this?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
My name is Lauren and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
Welcome back to andBeyond Ngala, everybody. So I've made my way back towards this area where that female leopard and her two cubs are. There's one cub that's feeding on the carcass. It looks like it might be the same one. The other one has also moved into the position where the mother was. We'll have a look at that shortly. It's kind of put its head away. And the mother has come down the tree. Where she is right now, I'm not 100% sure. She is around. I think there were two Ngala that came incredibly close here. So I wonder if she didn't spot them from a distance, kind of try and put herself into, so Odie, that one's popping its head back into the position. So do you remember from earlier, the female was lying in this exact little V, looking quite comfortable. This cub has taken its place, taken mom's place. What a spot to be in. And look at that little branch that it's lying on top of. It's quite amazing. That looks like it's a start of what we call a leopard orchid. And it's something that we call an epiphyte, which means it's got no kind of effect on this tree whatsoever. Maybe a monkey or a bird has come and dropped a seed into that V of the tree there, and it started to germinate. And a little baby leopard playing with a leopard orchid that's going to grow into this beautiful orchid that just sits in the neck of the V of that tree, kind of not taking any nutrients from the tree. So I'm going to stick around here, see what happens here. It sounds like Grant has got something interesting happening at Phinda. I'll send you over there quickly.
I can't believe it, everyone. And look, the brother's coming as well. Literally. Oh, he's gone up into the tree. Look at that. The two of them are in the tree right now. I'm sorry, this doesn't happen very often, guys, so I'm going to take a photo or two. See if we can get both of them looking at us. But look at that. What a scene. Two cheetah in a marula tree. Keep an eye on what they do up in that tree, but the first one went up literally 3 or 4 seconds after you left us on the previous segment. Oopsie. So that one that's up in the tree, he's the one that went up first. He's been scent marking, he's been spraying urine, but he's also been rubbing his cheek and whiskers into the tree as well. That's amazing. I missed that one jumping down from the tree. So hopefully try and get a shot of the one that's remaining in the tree as he comes down, but he looks quite comfortable. I don't think there's too much space for two of them in the tree. Azanku, you love cheetahs. Well, I love cheetah too. And if you want to see cheetah doing their thing, please come and visit us at Phinda. Oh, okay. The one brother's now walked directly under the tree and he's carried on. And I was talking earlier about the one being more dominant. Let's see, is he going to jump up? There we go. Cheetah climbing down from the tree. Or jumping, actually, should I say. Jumping out of the tree. Look at that. Walking through the open grassland. So, judging by their bellies, looks like these two males have not eaten recently. What we're going to try and do is not interfere with their hunting ambitions. And we will try to stick with these guys. They may move out of an area, or may move out of this area and into an area where we might not have comms or signal. So we're going to stick with them. And I'm going to send you across to Dan, who's with the leopards in the tree still.
Welcome back, everybody. What an amazing view this is of a baby leopard with a baby leopard orchid between its legs in a beautiful jackalberry. It's super, super stunning. I remember once before seeing little leopard cubs in a fully grown leopard orchid, which can take many, many, many years to grow and develop into this beautiful kind of orchid. It is an orchid, like a small little bush in the tree. And now the one on the top left is feeding quite ferociously and being quite aggressive with how it's picking up the carcass and trying to strip meat. It's quite a dangerous kind of maneuver that it's doing, picking up the carcass and trying to move it around. It's nowhere near strong enough to hold the carcass, so if gravity starts to take over and there's no tree below it, it certainly will drop. Now the female is somewhere on the ground. I'm really hoping she's close by, that if that carcass does drop, that she'll be there to kind of re-hoist it. But remember that hyena that we saw earlier? He or she will be very close around, waiting for this little one to drop anything, hopefully the whole carcass for it. So I've had a little bit of a closer look at that moving. Maybe some of those little bits and pieces have actually got caught in some of the corners of the tree or the branches, which will be a benefit to this little one when it's pulling it. Now it can be quite a hindrance to this female when she's made a kill and worked incredibly hard and put it up in a tree. At least she would have got some of the food to herself. But with a little cub like this feeding the way it is, it's very risky, and if it drops, that carcass is very likely going to disappear. Janet, will the female leopard leave these two cubs up in the tree while she goes and looks for more food? So for the time being, no. Because there is food and the female's trying to conserve as much energy as she can. Jeez, this little one is playing with that carcass. So while there is food around, she may spend a bit of time around this tree. There's also water very close by, so she doesn't have to go too far. She'll take advantage of this time to feed herself and get her cubs fed. But there will be a time when this carcass finally does finish, and there won't be any food left for the cubs or for the mother, and then she will leave, and she might, at that point, bring the cubs down the tree, maybe even leave them in and around this area in this tree, and then she will leave to go and hunt again. So that may be days as well. She'll leave the cubs in one area, often for several days at a time, while she goes and hunts. Obviously, these cubs are exclusively dependent on their mother for food, for both suckling purposes and for meat. And when the mother goes, she'll leave them here. They'll stay put. And at a young age like this, they're pretty pretty well behaved and they don't move too far. As they get a little bit older and a bit more curious, they will start to move around a little bit more and adventure around, but they're obviously incredibly vulnerable to predation at an age like this. I mean, they're getting a bit bigger. Maybe a big bird of prey like a martial eagle would try and grab one of these cubs out of the tree if it gets a chance. But if they even come down to the base, they'll be super camouflaged in the grass, and they know their best shot at survival is to actually listen to mom and stay completely put. And it's quite interesting. I've had a reasonably good look. It looks like these are two female cubs, and that's also quite a good thing for them, because the one's not going to grow at a much quicker rate, whereas if it was a male and a female, the young male will grow much faster than the young female and will outcompete it, and even in as close to a year or a year and a half will even start competing his own mother if it was a young male for food. And it is quite interesting. I mean, we nearly watched it unfold here, but when mom does go out and hunt, unlike lions, she doesn't take the cubs with her. She leaves them here. And these cubs are such good instinctive hunters. They don't really watch mom so much on a hunt. But if it did happen here this morning when these two Ngala came very, very close, there were two male Ngalas, and it was quite big. It was going to be interesting to see if she took one of them or tried to hunt one of them. It takes a lot of effort, and particularly a big Ngala like that with hyenas in the area. If she got close to taking it down, I'm sure one of those hyenas would have been here in a flash to steal it from her. And it is quite interesting. I mean, even with food up in the tree, if an opportunity presented itself for more food, although she is very full and satisfied, she would certainly take the opportunity. And going back to their instinctive hunting, I mean, not learning from mom, these little cubs, when they do get left on their own, and as they start to get a bit older and a bit bigger, start to move around, they start stalking each other and like playing with each other, really important skills later on in life to hunting and taking down and stalking and using camouflage to stalk each other. But also smaller things like birds and little mongooses that are on the floor. Look at this one kind of cleaning itself. I'm sure it's got remains of blood on its fur, on its face. Look at that, it's kind of cuddling with that little leopard orchid branch. And hasn't it just got the cutest little face? I'm sure that little one's actually watching mom. There are a few grey go-away birds that have flown into the area, and if they do spot these leopards, they'll fly into the tree and they'll make a lot of noise, bringing everyone's attention towards them. Kind of warning everyone around here that there are leopards in the area, and that'll encourage kind of prey species to avoid this area. Although there is a prominent watering hole that's not far away, I'm sure throughout the day there will be a few herbivores like impalas that come through and have a drink. This guy is really cute, really showing off, trying to find a comfortable position in that little V of the tree. So ever watchful, just watching and learning, listening and smelling to all these kind of factors that are going. Oh, two birds just flew right below the tree that got its attention. And after a good feed, you can see this one is feeling a little bit tired, trying to find a comfortable position so that it can rest and take advantage of this time with a full belly and very little kind of danger around to catch up on some rest. Predators like this need to get a lot of rest. They need to make or utilize their energy very carefully. And these little cubs aren't hunting for themselves just yet, and they have got excess energy to use, and they'll use that to play. So while these two are treating us over here, the one's feeding, the other one's looking to rest, and mom on the floor, I'm going to stick around, see what else happens here. But in the meantime, I'm going to send you over to Grant with his cheetah.
Yeah, adorable leopard cub sounds like an absolute treat. I wish I could be seeing those with you. But these two cheetah are really putting on a show for us. It's just been incredible. They are at another marula tree that's been kind of destroyed by elephants. It's really a bit stunted. All the big branches up on the top have been taken down. Look at how he's looking up again, smelling the tree. He might go up into the tree once again. And what they've been doing, these two, just before you joined us, they've been very intensely watching a herd of zebra. And studying that herd to see if there's maybe a young foal that could be a potential target for them. An adult zebra, for these two, an adult zebra is much too powerful for them. But a foal would certainly be something that they could go for. Here we go, the one that's going to go up the tree. Oh, look at that. That is not a leopard's tail, that is a cheetah's tail in the tree. Oh my word. So we're in an area where the signal is doing funny things, but I'm willing to risk it. I want to just try and reposition us, because we are properly blocked and we're not going to have a view of that cheetah in the tree. He is using the vantage point well there. I mean, we're going to see the back of his head now, but you'll see beyond where this cheetah is in the tree is a valley. And he's using this slight little bit of height, or the bit of height that he gets by jumping up into the tree, he's using that to scan down into the valley. The bush is pretty thick where he's looking, and so quite easily he could miss nyalas or impalas moving through. And just by getting that little bit of a height advantage and standing very still, looking and listening, he's able to, he might be able to see, oh, he's going to jump out. Sorry, I can't resist, guys. I have to use my camera again. Oh, surely going to jump out of the tree facing us. And he's covering every direction, so he spent a bit of time looking in each direction. Can you believe it? He's busy scent marking in the tree again. Yes, there is. It is definitely a dominant one out of these two. Not always plain to see or clear to see. But the one on our left-hand side, yeah, the one that Johan's got in the frame for you at the moment, a little bit behind the bushes, but that is the dominant one of the two of them, and he determines what they do and when they do it. Although not always, but for the most part, he is the one that gets them going when they need to go and hunt and when they need to patrol territory, but his brother will also instigate moving every now and then. But they do everything together, and they've established that hierarchy or that dominance from when they were very young cubs. These two have a pretty interesting story, which I'll tell you in a little bit. I want to try and get around to the other side, get the sun behind us, and try and have another look at these two males' faces. Seems like they've found a little bit of a spot to rest over here. And in the meantime, I will send you back across to Dan.
Welcome back to andBeyond and Ngala, everybody. And very similar to Cheetah having more dominance, these leopards will also have more dominance between themselves, and depending on their sexes will determine their dominance. And out here in the bush, dominance is more often than not determined by size and strength. And in leopards, females are substantially smaller than males, and males being much bigger, much stronger, will outcompete and outdominate females. But you'll see that females will have like a small territory, and they are fiercely territorial. Females will move around and mark, scent mark, and kind of control their territory quite ferociously. And a male will have quite a large territory, which will encompass several female territories, in which he will also kind of move between female territories, marking, scent marking, calling. And you'll see when a female is ready to mate, she will be the one that kind of initiates it. She'll start looking for a male to mate with, and because her territory is much smaller than the male's, she will often have to go sometimes out of her territory looking for the male. And you'll see in the evenings often they'll call and incessantly call, trying to get the attention of maybe a nearby male who will have to come in and try and find her. And once she's found a suitable male, she will then use that opportunity to mate. And then they'll spend several days together, often 4 or 5 days, kind of constantly mating, spending that time together, very rarely moving each other's side, even from time to time not even feeding at all. And then after 4 or 5 days of constant mating, they'll be exhausted and hungry, and they'll separate, very likely, or sometimes not even ever coming into contact again. If the male's territory is where it is, he will bump into her from time to time, and he'll be able to pick up on her movements when he's doing his patrols, kind of see where she's marking. Okay, so the one cub on the left-hand side has got up. I wonder if it's not going to come and join this other one that's looking a little bit sleepy and a little bit tired. Once you've got full bellies, these little cubs, just like children, will actually try and get asleep, but not needing to hunt all the time, or ever actually, these little cubs. They will have excess energy to use in moving around. Look at this little one up against. It's just watching its sibling. Let's see, I know there's a branch in the way. Let me see if I can sneak forward. No, I'm actually going to wait here. I know the branch is in the way, but me turning on might disturb them. So they're both kind of standing up. The one hasn't noticed that the other one's moved off of the carcass just yet. Oh, now it has. Now they're watching each other. Let's see what they do. And I mean, already at about 18 weeks old, we saw yesterday how good they are at climbing and how easily they can move around in the tree. It's amazing how nimble these little... this one lost interest in the sibling and remember that there's food there. Gone back there. I wonder, it's now looking to the left. Maybe mom's moving around there. Maybe a hyena's moved through. Maybe something. Anything, even a small little bird got that one's attention. Turning its head around. It seems like this little one has had enough food for now and is looking for something to do. Whether it be move around in the tree and work on its kind of climbing skills, looking for a spot to rest and take advantage of a full belly, and or if it's going to go back towards its... You can hear the grey go-away birds coming into this tree. I wonder if one of them didn't spot this leopard, start alarm calling, get the attention of the rest of the grey go-away birds in and around the area to move into here as well. Now, as I said, she's looking for something else to do. Up she goes back to eating and licking, and you'll see, we saw that leg of the impala that kind of fell into the tree earlier. They've got very rough tongues, excuse me, kind of like backward-facing sharp knives on their tongue, and they'll lick bones, and with that kind of sharp, rough tongue, they can actually strip meat right off of the bone, getting to some really tricky areas where they wouldn't previously be able to get to some of the meat. It's amazing. This one's found such a good spot, and it's comfortable, doesn't have to move around too much, and it can look around. It's busy watching a crested francolin that's moving around on the floor. And we're talking about them learning how to hunt. And they've got such a instinctive hunting method ingrained in them. A little bird like that, when they're walking around on the ground, gets too close, they'll stalk and try and pounce. And even a crested francolin for these guys might be a little bit big, but you try the first time and the francolin gets away, and then 2 weeks later you get a little bit bigger and you try another francolin or a spur fowl or a squirrel or whatever it may be. And you get that feeling of grabbing onto something, it trying to get away. Obviously it's trying to get away for its life, so it'll put everything it has into fleeing away. Oh, this one's now getting up. I wonder if it didn't get a little bit uncomfortable. Looking up, let's see what it does. Are you just going to turn around? Oh. Showing us its tail, finding a more comfortable spot. The other one is also moving around now, and then back around. Now really getting comfortable. The other one's also kind of got up for now. Watching, let's see, look how easily it moves around. It's going to do a little jump up into the tree. Let's see if it doesn't go down. It'll be super interesting to see the kind of reaction and behavior between the two. Of walking. Yes, it's amazing how easily these leopard cubs can hop from branch to branch. Look, here we go, into the other one. Looks like it's got the best spot. Now look at the two of them. Isn't this adorable? Sitting on each other. It is obviously the best spot in the tree. And it's like when you see your sibling with something better than you, you just want it because they've got it. And look at them playing. And I just love the fact that there's that leopard orchid in between the two of them. Oh, watch this. Watch, watch, watch. It's amazing how easily they grip in the tree. Look at the tail around the other one's neck. Kind of like just jostling for a position, lying head to tail. Now that there's two of them, it doesn't look like it's big enough for the two of them, so the other one's looking for a spot to go. It also means that the carcass is now unattended. So if the other one is feeling like it needs a feed, look at how easily it climbs up there. I mean, that's a vertical branch. It just uses those sharp claws to kind of grip into the tree and move up. Given up its spot for the other one. Now this one, the one that was feeding on the carcass earlier, has now taken the spot of its sibling. Megan, I'm really glad these cubs are giving you a big smile. They're also giving me a big smile. It's amazing to just be able to sit and watch them behave. And in the past few weeks, they've become so confident and comfortable around us. And it has a lot to do with how you react to a sighting like this. Because leopard cubs, being so naturally secretive and shy, when they first start to hear vehicles and hear people's voices, they'll be very shy and try and hide away. But being as sensitive and as neutral as we possibly can, we allow them to become comfortable around us and behave as if we weren't here whatsoever. We have actually no or very little impact on what they're doing. And once they realize that, they kind of calm down and start to behave normally. And this is typical leopard cub behavior, kind of banter between the two. Oof, the one has moved to the carcass, which has got the other one's attention. They've got such full bellies already. But while there is food around, they need to utilize it because it could disappear at any moment, whether it be from another leopard that comes into the tree and steals it. Look at this one, kind of maneuvering around the branch there, watching. Look how full its tummy is, hey, huge. Oh. From there, going to try and jump around the tree. Look at, use its claws. There it goes, up it goes. Are you going down the tree? Oh, very interesting. Wonder if it's not going to go and try and find mom on the ground somewhere. It just hops down. It is a little bit risky on the floor there because that's where the hyena was earlier, and the smell of this carcass will attract all sorts of, lots of hyenas. In fact, I've only seen one around. The base of the tree now, just moving around, maybe looking for mom. And you'll see they do want the comfort of their mother. From time to time, mom will also appreciate her alone time. I'm going to stick around here and I'm going to send you to Tristan for a quick update.
We're back, everybody. Sorry about earlier. I'm sure a lot of you have been wondering where I've been, what I've been doing, and what actually happened. So essentially, unfortunately, apparently my lapel's not working. BK? BK is getting my audio. Audio is good. There we go. Wonderful. All right. So I don't know how much you caught of that, but anyway, I was saying sorry that we went MIA for a while and under suspicious circumstances. Unfortunately, the lions are busy trying to kill an animal we can't put on camera. So they are trying to kill a rhino, and we don't put them on, and so we had to just kind of link away immediately. And that's the reason. And it's not because it was a person being killed. It wasn't because I had any issues that I had to worry about. It was just that reason. And so, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with the Talamatis. I left them kind of still busy there. We'll see what happens. But anyway, it seems like it's been a very, very epic cat today with a big cat trifecta and lots going on. So that's reason to celebrate. Good, we're going to carry on, we're going to bumble, we'll just see what else we can find for the morning. Maybe we'll get lucky with something else down the road.
Hi, I'm Dee from the south coast of England. Today I was told I have won the most amazing prize to go to Marataba. Oh, I can't believe it. I became hooked on WildEarth last year when I was trying to escape COVID, and animals are my thing. I just love them and I love what WildEarth does. So that's why I wanted to become an explorer. Just so looking forward to going out to Marataba. Want to do a walking safari. Thank you so much, WildEarth.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature. As one of the industry's best and Fagasa-endorsed training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a Fagasa accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Moore Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, Don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
You are cheeky. That was a brave decision. Amber Eyes is... Oh. That is so magic. That was absolutely wonderful. Amber Eyes just gave that cub an enormous hug.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
So our two cheetah brothers have found themselves a really nice sunny spot. And a perfect little vantage point. Oh, have a look at that one that Johan is going nice and close up to. He tried to have a look at his facial features and any markings unique to him. Oh, he's going to roll over. That is the dominant one of the two of these brothers. Oh, and now they're both facing the other way. See, slightly different tone to their coats. Although they are brothers from the same litter, see the one on the right's got a slightly more reddish color to his coat. The one on the left is more like a grey, duller grey color. Oh, a yawn. And Johan and I were just chatting about how the cheetah can be on the move and so active, showing so much energy. Much the same as leopard and lion when they are active and then all of a sudden lie down and just lights out. End of action. But with cheetah it's not so much of a lights out, switch off situation comparing to leopard and lion, because the cheetah have to be alert all the time. And that one that Johan is showing you now has got his head up, but his brother has got his head flat to the ground, and it's not something that you see very often, and not something that happens for a very long period of time. We'll see how long he keeps his head flat for. Just the ear twitching. And these two males will, there we go, head up again. These two males will kind of alternate the job of being alert and being vigilant. And you see how their heads are held at basically a 90-degree angle to the rest of their body. It can't be, can't be comfortable, but it is. And cheetahs have developed that ability to sleep like that with their head up. Just so that those ears can work even when the cheetah is sleeping. If they've got the head up, those ears are alert to any kind of danger around them. With these two boys that have turned their backs on us now, we're going to stick here, but I'm going to send you across to Tristan, who's got a mob on a mound.
We do have a mob on a mound, and it's nice to have some semblance of calmness rather than the chaos that has reigned since the first minute of this game drive for us. It's been busy this morning, so nice to kind of just have a calm moment with some dwarf mongoose sunning themselves and getting nice and warm and ready for the day that lies ahead. They've obviously been using this mound during the course of the night and have come out now in order to get themselves sorted and to be able to get active and get going It was obviously a cold morning this morning, if you didn't see by the number of layers all of us were wearing. And so can't blame them for absorbing a little bit of sunshine before they start getting going today. They really are cute little things, these dwarf mongoose. I always enjoy watching them, especially relaxed groupings like this, ones that just sit quietly and let you get nice and close to them, and you get these kind of beautiful views of these little guys as they go about their sort of suntan session. But yeah, crazy morning. I honestly have no idea whether or not those Talamatis are going to get that right, but they're certainly still trying, and they've cornered that animal, so I don't know what's going to happen there. All I do know is that one male Talamati almost lost his life. He got very close to being skewered and completely squished against a bank of a riverbed. The horn, as it tried to hit him, missed him by millimeters. It slammed straight in between his leg and his tail, and he managed to kind of move off and get away, but it was very close to him, like I say, not looking very good. So there's perils in doing what they're doing today, and those young males are going to learn very quickly that that's probably not the animal to be playing around with. But yeah, we'll see what that brings. Like I say, they're still there, still busy, so who knows whether they'll be able to wear that animal down and actually be successful. I'd be surprised if they were. I think they're going to eventually lose interest and move off. Hopefully. We don't need that kind of stuff. A lot of you probably are a little bit confused also by the sort of rhino viewing things and why we don't view them here versus Phinda, for example. It's a management decision from the reserve itself. So each reserve has a different way, and given the amount of pressure that is currently being exerted on the species through poaching and various other things, the decision was taken that showing them and promoting them and kind of just generally giving away where they are was probably not the best idea, and so they've asked us very nicely not to do it, and that's why we don't do it from this particular reserve. The same, I think, stands for Ngala, as well as Pridelands and the rest that are around. It's just Phinda really that we view them at, and that's because the reserve itself was okay with them being shown. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I personally hate it, not because I don't want the animal to survive and don't agree with everything, but I just feel like we sometimes do them a bit of a disservice because we don't actually talk about the problem. We just brush it over as though it doesn't exist, and for me that sometimes is not the way to go. If everybody actually knew what was going on and the realities of what was happening, then maybe, just maybe, we'd be able to, kind of start getting the ball rolling as to more people understanding what's happening. But I get what they're saying and I understand it, and like I say, it's their decisions that they make as management of the reserve and the anti-poaching units and everything. That's what they've asked us not to do, and so you've got to respect it. They put their lives on the line every day and every night to protect these animals, and so if that's what they're asking, then that's the least we can do. Like I say, I just hate that we don't give an iconic animal like that any attention. It's saddens me that we've gotten to a point where that's what's going on, where we can't even view these animals and speak about them because of I will say a minority. It's not the majority of the world, a minority of the world persecuting an animal and making it difficult and robbing many people and children all over the world from being able to actually learn about them. So that's my 2 cents, and we'll leave it at that. That'll be the last of it for this morning's drive. We shall focus more on what's actually happening in these little mongoose. You can see one by one they've started to drift off. It's quite late in the morning. I'm actually surprised that they were still here. Normally by this time in the morning they're already out foraging. So I'm actually surprised that we caught them. But in the time we've been here, they've slowly started coming down the mound, and they're starting to move around onto the fire break area, and they'll sort of root about and dig and scratch around and try and find as much food as they possibly can for the day. And that's the last one gone. All right, let's carry on. We're not going to get any more of them, I don't think. They all went down, and I can see some of them quite far already running along the fire break. So I expect that they're going to not come back to the mound anytime soon. As for Shadulu, she was lost not far from where we had the lions. She was apparently milling about doing circles there. I wonder if she just couldn't pick up the smell for Kara, and that's why she was kind of trotting around there. Also with the lions being around, I suppose she was a bit unsettled. So, you know, we'll try maybe this afternoon and see if we can't pick her up again. I know we haven't had many sightings of her, and I know it was a fleeting glimpse, but I just didn't want to follow her with the lions being so close. I wanted her just to have space to do whatever she wanted to, and to feel like she wasn't being followed heavily by vehicles. Still morning. The clouds have cleared. It's warmed up a bit. I feel like there might be some more cold weather on the way. See how dry the vegetation has become. We are in the dead of winter. You can imagine being an animal, a herbivore animal, trying to survive off of the meager pickings. Still lots of grass available. It was very dry. A lot of its nutrients withdrawn into the roots. Same with the trees. It becomes quite challenging for an animal to survive. When there's drought at the moment, there's still quite a lot of surplus food because of the rains we had. Let's quickly go to Tristan. Moya, I think. Well, we just bumped into another leopard. Unfortunately, she's crossing south. It looks like Moya. Just saw her crossing the road from far. We've just caught up with her in this burn section. She's got that very light coat, so I'd make 100% sure. But she's going to disappear. Yeah, I think. Oh no, she gone. Alright, well, let's try to see if we can keep visual of her. Well, guys, we unfortunately, I don't know if we can still see her. Can you still see her, BK? Alright, so we had Moya cross in front of us, and she's gone into Little Gari, so I can't get anywhere near her. Also, it's a burnt area, so we wouldn't even be able to off-road if it was on our side. But yeah, some elephants disturbed her, and she went trotting over the road in front of us and then into Little Gari. I'm going to try... Oh, I mean, it's a bad visual now. Let's just try to see if we go forward a little bit. Maybe there's a gap through here that we can see better. There we go. There she is there, Bika. It's a much better view of her. Meandering through the burnt sections, going on her way. Shame, girl. Oh, it is raining cats today, everywhere. It's a pity that she's going that way and not the other way, because it would have been perfect for us if we had got her the other way. But yeah, she's around, is Moya. We're seeing her a lot around this section, and I'd imagine if we had actually spent some time this area this morning, we would have found her, because when I was with the Talamatis, I heard the elephants going crazy around Treehouse Dam, and she's come from that direction. So maybe it was her that disturbed the Ellies. Anyway, nice surprise. That was very cool. You still have her, BK. What a champion. See, this is why we pay you the big bucks, BK. But yeah, she'll eventually disappear from view, I'm afraid. She's meandering way in now. She's a pretty leopard though. You see how light she is, especially against this black of the fire or the burnt area. She's very light in comparison to that, and even to Shadulu and Kara and Tlalamba and Marifs. She has a very whitish coloured coat. She just scent marking there. Can't see.
She's
sniffing the tree. Maybe another leopard is marked there. I think she'll get going now. There she goes. Tail wagging. And off she goes. Cool. Well, that was nice. Nice little surprise. The end of drive. To get a leopard kind of coming out. They seemed to be everywhere the last couple of days. It was amazing because we had nothing for just leading up to the cold front, and now that it's cold, we've all of a sudden got them. Alright, well, we'll leave Moya to herself. She's going to carry on deeper into Little Gowrie. In the meantime, let's send you to Lauren.
Our favourite little brown hooded kingfisher, it's a female, is sitting in the exact same spot at Gowrie Dam as she always is. We've had her here the past 4 days, I think. This must be the most ideal branch if you're a kingfisher and you don't even really catch fish. So you're not the king of fishing, you're the king of catching insects. This is a very iconic tree for us, it's dead knobthorn. Always got a water monitor lizard on it or two. A great perching spot for many birds. In this exact position that the brown hooded is in, we had a giant the other day. A giant kingfisher, that is. It's a really good indicator of the water levels, this tree. Terrapins. I've actually walked on this tree myself during bushwalk with Morris. It's a dead tree, but a special one all the same. Look at the kingfisher studying. Very keen eyesight. Remarkable precision when picking up insects. But when winter comes around, these kingfishers in particular do have to adapt their diet. The plethora of insects are no more. Isn't it so lovely just sitting here by the dam with their favourite brown hooded kingfisher?
We have another wonderful guest with us, Sergio Real. Sergio is a holder of the Ticket to Dream.
I bought a Ticket to Dream because I love WildEarth. All of the guides have been awesome. We've been watching for years, and it's a favorite part of my day to get to watch the drives. I look forward to seeing lots of leopards.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
My favorite part of the drive today was definitely an elephant that paid us a visit and came right to our car.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
It's amazing being on a live drive in Djuma. It's just fantastic. The scenery is beautiful and the animals are even better.
The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, encourages people to care for the earth. Through innovative projects, they aim to reverse the serious issues that we face in the world today. One of these projects is Green Coast, a proudly South African award for sensitive and well-managed coastal sites. This sustainability project protects our national coastlines while providing unemployed youth with a love for their environment and a hope for the future. WESA is a membership and volunteer-supported organisation. Every supporter is helping to change the only earth we have. Visit our website to see how you can help care for our earth.
Oh, it's going to be in trouble now. Oh, this is unbelievable stuff. Here comes a hippo in too. Go, Impala. There's a hippo coming in. I can't believe what we're seeing here. This is what we normally see in East Africa. It's all over. Hippo leaping at the crocodile now. Everything's gone underwater.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
Welcome back to andBeyond Ngala, everybody. So I've left that Leopardess and her two cubs to kind of carry on doing. It might be an interesting spot to start this afternoon and see what's kind of happened throughout the day. And on the way out, we kind of found this small little bachelor herd of buffalo. And haven't got a 100% estimation of all of them around because I think there are quite a few. There's probably about 10 of them lying here. And often when you see them in a group like this, you seem to think that these are all old bulls who have kind of lost their touch. But some of these are big. Look at this one kind of rubbing his head in that bush, kind of scratching. You take having hands for granted sometimes. You get a little itch in between your horns that you can't scratch. You got to go up to a bush and kind of use it as a scratching post. I mean, these are 10 buffalo bulls. Some of them might be a little bit older than others, but they are big, strong, kind of in their prime. It's interesting to see them alone like this. Maybe they've just kind of separated from the herd. Maybe some of them have kind of gone past their mating prime and like spending some time together with other buffaloes who are in a similar situation. But some of them look like they are in their prime, like should be dominating small little harems within a herd. Interesting to see them kind of separating and moving on their own, kind of keeping each other company. They look like they are heading towards a watering hole, and you'll see as it starts to heat up, all sorts of herbivores will be heading to the watering hole now. I mean, it's kind of getting to the point where it's warm enough that the nocturnal animals should be settling down. You'll often find animals like lions moving around in the evening, coming to have a drink at one of the watering holes around. At the moment, this time of the year, they are somewhat limited, the watering holes. So they might even be hanging around a watering hole like this, waiting for an unsuspecting victims. Maybe a buffalo like this, or maybe an impala, as they kind of amble and make their way towards a watering hole, try and catch them on their way, unawares. I mean, a big buffalo like this is certainly not easy to catch. Okay, everybody, it's been an absolutely amazing morning. Great little bump in after those leopards with these buffalo. I'm going to send you over to Lauren, kind of give us a little wrap for the morning.
It wouldn't be a day at the dam if we didn't show you the water monitor lizards. What are you doing? Sunbathing, I think. I'd love to be sunbathing, but it's definitely not that warm enough yet for me. I'm not solar powered though. I'd like to be. This is a sort of medium-sized monitor lizard. No, we... Okay. You gotta love that sound. Nowhere near as big as the one that is hanging in the fig tree in Cheetah. That is a big monitor lizard. But it's still a fair size. There's normally a little juvenile here. I can't see it right now, though. A lot of these species around the dam you will find in the same place on a daily basis. They really are little creatures of habit, or small territories, or favorite branches. Did you get that down?
Bernie Lulu.
Mm-hmm.
This needs to watch out for marines.
Bernie Lulu, yes. I don't think we'll get Medibs at Gowrie Dam, but yes, he's a fan of the old monitor lizard. You watch out for Mr. Medibs. I wonder where Medibs will go. He's got plenty of time yet, but it's interesting to think which direction he'll disperse in. If he goes south or west, the density of male leopards is very high. Monitor lizard is listening to everything we say. But it has come to the end of a fabulous Saturday morning drive. Of course, that's the time when we have to say goodbye. Thank you, everybody. A big thank you for jumping on board, as always. All your comments and all your questions, that's what keeps us going. So please do join us this afternoon. Until then, have a fabulous day.